Clients will often come up to me and say, look, I should be losing weight, but I eat really healthily, but for whatever reason, I'm just not getting the weight loss that I deserve, often believing that something is wrong with them. Now, if I ask them to go through a typical day's worth of food, they will inevitably say something like, well, I have a small bowl of breakfast in the morning, maybe some cereal. I'll have maybe a chicken salad or a sandwich for lunch, then something really healthy for dinner, like maybe fish and vegetables or meat and potatoes or something like that. Now, this is something that is massively, massively important because I do it over and over and over again, hundreds of times with clients. If you think you should be losing weight and you're basing this on your perception of how healthy your diet is, you are fucking up. Because how healthy your diet is means very, very little if you have no concept of the number of calories within it. Now, over the years, I have done many kind of calorie comparison posts to highlight how much discrepancy there can be between two foods. Now, for example, let's say someone's cooking you dinner. If you don't know how much oil they've used in cooking, you can massively under or overestimate how many calories are in that meal. For example, here is a post that looked at the calories in a small portion of oil. So if that's drizzled over something or meat or fish has been fried in it, you can get the number of calories completely wrong just from eyeballing it. So you might guess how many calories are in the piece of fish or how much the fish weighs, but if you don't know how much oil it's been cooked in or how much has been drizzled over the top, there's a strong possibility that you are going to eyeball that wrong and you are going to misreport the number of calories you're consuming. Now, other examples of this can be whether you get the quantity of something wrong. For example, here's a peanut butter calorie comparison post. One of these uses more peanut butter than the other. Now, you can see this if you look closely, but most people won't realise how much of a discrepancy there is just from looking at them. There looks like more peanut butter on one, but to see that much of a difference in calories surprises a lot of people. But this is something that is visually obvious because you can see a difference between them. So even if you think, well, actually, I'm much sharper than that, I could look at something and know that that's got too much peanut butter on. Fine. But some things can look identical, but have a big discrepancy in calories. For example, this is tuna mayonnaise on toast. One of these uses low-fat mayonnaise, the other one uses full-fat mayonnaise and a thicker serving of butter underneath, which you can't see. Exactly the same piece of bread, exactly the same quantity of tuna, and exactly the same quantity of mayonnaise. Everything visibly is exactly the same. But one is the full-fat version and one is the lower-fat version. So you cannot look at this and assume you know how many calories are in it. Now, here are some kind of real-world examples. So if someone says, yeah, but I only ate a chicken salad for lunch. Here's a comparison of 2 chicken salads in 2 different restaurants. So you can see how big the calorie discrepancy is between them. So just saying, well, I had a chicken salad for lunch, isn't going to cut it. Because that could be anything from a couple of hundred calories right up to 1,400 calories depending on the restaurant. Now this is the same with things like a chicken sandwich. If you see a chicken and bacon sandwich on one side and another one from a different establishment on the other. And the calorie discrepancy is huge. Now basically what I'm getting at with people is eating healthily is very, very important. I'm not discounting eating healthily. But eating healthily, perceiving that you're eating healthily without having any grasp on how many calories you're consuming sets you up for failure because calories ultimately are important. So what I recommend people doing is something called a dietary audit. You don't have to meticulously track calories all the time. And for most of my clients, I never did this. But they have to have enough of a grasp on calories that if they're not losing weight, they know they need to reduce calories somewhere. So a dietary audit is something where you do a day or two of tracking calories, even if it's loosely, just to bring a little bit more education and a little bit more awareness on the number of calories you're consuming on a daily basis. Because that allows you to be more educated and make more precise changes to your diet, setting you up for success. If you're doing it based solely off your perceived health of your diet, you're leaving a huge, huge margin for error. So that's it. I hope it's been helpful. Thank you for watching.